back to Truck on the Seven Seas. This is episode number 45. In this episode, we're going to go over week 15 of the Night Transportation Lease Operator Program. We stick on the West Coast this week, as usual, and we have a very good week, primarily due to a very low fuel bill. If you are new to this channel, welcome. I started this channel in order to show exactly what truck drivers make. We started as a company driver working for Night Transportation, and now we moved on to a lease operator working for Night Transportation. I show all of the loads I take, all of the revenue, all of the expenses, and what my net settlement was, and I compile all of this information and I put it into a spreadsheet that I share with you at the end of every video. So if this is a topic that interests you, follow the channel. But last episode we left off in Willows, California, so we picked up a load in Willows, California, and we're headed to Los Angeles, California. So let's go. Okay, so we dropped the load out here in Paris, California. It was just a drop and hook to a Lowe's DC. We didn't get one assigned yet, so we're gonna wait. I'm sure there will be one here shortly. We ended up stopping in Grapevine, Nevada, or California, at the Petro there because of all the wind. And then we did a reset because the wind was just too much. So unscheduled reset, not ideal, not very efficient. Had like 40 hours on the clock, but what are you gonna do? And now it's raining real bad, and the 15 is closed going north out of Los Angeles, so that's a problem. So don't have a load assigned, and that's okay because the main road going out is closed. But anyways, we'll just wait, and you'll find out where we're going when the little truck app stops moving. So let's go wherever we're going. Okay, so we dropped the load out here in Buckeye, Arizona. It's the Sam's Club DC. We've been here many a time, so drop and hook. Then we got dispatch on another one picking up in Tucson, Arizona, which is also a drop and hook, and that's just down the road. And we're taking that one to Riverside, California for a live unload. Let's go. Okay, so we're out here in Riverside, dropping this load. It's a live unload. We already had to wait quite a while, so 4 hours so far, so we're gonna get some detention on this one. So we're backed in, and then gonna get this unloaded, and then after this load, we're picking up one in Moreno Valley, California, and headed to Tucson, Arizona, which is Phoenix. So let's go. Okay, so we dropped this load out here in Tucson, Arizona. Then we got dispatched another one picking up in Buckeye, Arizona. It's another drop-in hook. It's at the Sam's DC Club that we've been to multiple times. And that one's headed to Las Vegas to another Sam's Club that we have also been to multiple times. Picking this one up, or dropping this one, picking in Buckeye, and dropping in Las Vegas, Nevada. Let's go. Okay, so we dropped this load out here in the Sam's Club. So we dropped it, and then as I was dropping it, they wanted me to take another load in the yard headed to Los Angeles, but they had a very tight timeline, and I didn't think I could make it. Might be heading to Los Angeles now. I'm not sure. They're going to see if they can get the time extended, but if we're not heading there, well, I don't know where I'm going after this, so we'll just get into the travel girl scat thing, and you'll see where I'm going when the truck ends. So we did end up taking that one to Montebello, and then we dropped it. We actually had a driver assist on there as well, so we were just like kind of putting stamps or tags on the merchandise as he was pulling it out. So that was an easy $150, which I got paid for, and that's always nice. So that was good. That was a live unload. Did that, and then after that one, we got dispatched on another load, picking up in Fontana, California, and headed to Tracy, California. However, that's going to be the last load on this paycheck, so it's spreadsheet time. For week 15, we did 7 loads, and in those 7 loads, we got 2,568 miles. We were paid a total of $4,615 for an average of $1.80 per mile. Fuel expenses, we fueled up 4 times, and in those 4 times, we paid $655 for an average of 26 cents per mile. Maintenance expense, we did have one maintenance expense for $170 for an average of 7 cents per mile. Other expenses, MRP 128, Qualcomm 13, Bobtail 692, physical damage 69, occupational accident policy 34, permits 42, pre-pass 350, truck payment $450, scales $1350, fuel mile tax $77, lease security deposit $100 for a total of $938 for an average of 37 cents per mile. Totals for week 15, we spent a total of $1,764 on expenses for an average of 69 cents per mile. Total revenue was $4,615 for an average of $1.80 per mile. That brought our net settlement to $2,851 for an average of $1.11 per mile. Total since starting the program, we've driven a total of 33,478 miles. We've had $35,125 of expenses for an average of $1.05 per mile, and that is my cost per mile right there. Total revenue is $57,471 for an average of $1.72 per mile. Net cash flow was $22,346 for an average of 67 cents per mile, and if you minus the lease security deposit, it goes up to 74 cents per mile. If I had been a company driver working for Night Transportation, I would have made $18,078 at 54 cents per mile. And if I had been an owner-operator who owned his truck outright, I would have made $29,796 for an average of 89 cents per mile. Averages and other information. Average weekly paycheck is $1,489. Average weekly miles is 2,232. Total fuel costs $18,178 for an average of 54 cents per mile. Total maintenance costs were $3,464 for an average of 10 cents per mile. If I kept this up for a 52-week period, I'd make $77,466 and drive a total of 116,000 miles. We've been employed 105 days, or 15 weeks, taking 12 days off, 93 days on duty, taking 63 total loads. Average load length is 531 miles. And the total lease security deposit that I have contributed at this time is $2,500. All right, moving on to the volatility graph. So this just shows volatility of a company driver versus a lease driver. Company's blue, lease is red. And as you can see, the lease driver is quite a bit more volatile, especially these 3 weeks. So I had this bonanza week right here. And then last week I had a terrible week where I lost money. And this week I had another bonanza week. So, or, well, not a bonanza week, but a good week. So you can just see the volatility here. And blue line is company driver, and you can just see it's a lot more stable. And I thought this was useful information for you guys, just to show how much more volatile a lease operator or an owner operator would be. Total company pay versus total lease pay. So this just shows pay in aggregate week by week. So if you scroll over it, you can see every week how much money in aggregate I made as a lease driver and how much money I would have made as a company driver. And you can see the lease operator, which is still red, is traveling mostly in parallel at this point. You know, a little bit dip here and then up here, and making a little bit more than a company driver. So the last data point right there is 22,000. The last data point right there is 18,000. So far, making about $4,000 more as a lease driver. And yeah, and that data point right there is also right here. So same information there. And yeah, so that's that. It just shows pay in aggregate of a company versus a lease driver, and you can determine whether it's worth it or not. I'm just posting the numbers here, and yeah, there you go. Okay, so one note from last week, so we're actually looking at quickly week 14. I had big maintenance expenses last week, and when I called them up, I found out that this expense right here, the $524, that wasn't for the services I had done with the ABS light. That was actually for the B service. So it wasn't. So when I did the B service, I also had them check a coolant leak, and then I had them inspect the DPF. So the B service was actually covered, but because I had the coolant leak inspected and I had the DPF looked at, they charged $524 for that. So that's what that charge was. And this charge right here and this charge right here were in fact for the ABS light and the Freightliner dealership and all that stuff. But this one right here was actually for when I brought it in for a B service and had the DPF looked at and the leak inspected. Again, the actual B service was covered, but because the DPF inspection and the coolant leak was not covered, that's what that charge right there is for. And it all hit on the same paycheck. And I found out they tend to discharge all of their maintenance expenses at the end of the month, which is really annoying because this was done like weeks ago. But for some reason, the actual maintenance shops, sometimes they'll wait till the end of the month to discharge it, which I really wish they wouldn't do. But that's what they do. And okay, so only, about $700 of this was actually for the ABS inspection or the ABS problem. And this $500 was for previous maintenance expenses, which I wish they wouldn't do that, but I don't control them. So what am I going to do? But that's what that was about. That's why that was so high. And then this maintenance expense right here, this was for the ABS issues as well. There was another charge. I think this was when they actually put the V4 in at the shop, because that was like the next day. So I think that's what that charge right there is for, $170 for a new V4. I'm pretty sure that's what that, well, no, that's definitely what that one was for. And yeah, this charge hit the next paycheck because it was done like a day after all the other charges that were up there before. So that's what's going on there. All right, big one though is this fuel expense. So that is an incredibly low fuel expense, and I'm a little confused by it. I would have thought I would have spent more. I must have fueled up like right before the last week hit, and then I must have like just been on basically empty Friday, which is when the last paycheck, or Saturday, which is when the paycheck discharge is. So I must have started the week absolutely full and then ended the week with like no fuel, and then fueled up the next day for whatever reason. That's the only explanation I can have for why that is so incredibly low. But that's really what really helped this week. It should be about twice that. So I must have just had an absolute, just fueled up right before the week ended last week, and then when this week ended, I must have been on absolute empty. Again, I don't care about this. I don't care about the volatility. All I care about is the number at the end. So yeah, my fuel bills are going to be very volatile, but I don't particularly care. And this one is obviously not normal at all, and that's certainly helping the week here. But yeah, that's obviously not normal. Okay, yeah. So there's week 15. Very good week. Very low fuel bill. I'm sure I'll feel that fuel bill this week. It'll probably be pretty high. But yeah, that's that. And yeah, we're just continuing on. It's February, so things are somewhat slow. I'm taking what I can get. They're running me kind of in the Los Angeles, Phoenix, Vegas area. And I'm not complaining too much. I mean, yeah, the fuel is quite expensive. I would like to be in like Texas or something like that. However, you know, the weather has been so bad across the country. I'm not complaining too much just running the Sun Belt because, you know, I don't have to deal with snow. So I'm like, okay, whatever. It's fine for now. But I am looking to get out east. Some of you guys have been commenting. I have been reading them. And I agree. I would like to run Texas and whatnot. But just right now, the February is the slowest month of the year, arguably. So I'm okay. I'm just sort of taking whatever they're giving me. And if they're going to give me, you know, the Sun Belt, okay, it keeps me out of the snow. So I'm not complaining too much. But yeah, these short loads are getting really annoying. Some of you guys have also been commenting about these short loads, and you are absolutely correct. Those are pretty short, and I would like a 2,000-mile load at some point. And going forward, I think I'll start pushing for longer loads. But right now, I'm okay just, you know, just running the Sun Belt, you know, Vegas to Phoenix, Phoenix to Los Angeles, Los Angeles to Vegas, Vegas to you know, I'm okay doing that because it keeps me out of the snow. So yeah, that's what's going on there. And yeah, but that will do it for this episode. If you are interested in truck driving, there's a link in the comment section down below. Just click that link, fill out your information, and a driver recruiter will get a hold of you. And if you are interested in this spreadsheet or any of the other spreadsheets I've done in the past, they are available in the About section. You can click on them, and then after you click on them and open them, you can hit File, Download, and then you could download them however you want, just like that. I believe you do have to have a Google account, and then after you download them, you can edit them and use them however you want. But thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.